Original Swim Series, and this is driving a Humvee over 55 miles per hour, nearly 100 kilometers per hour. No thanks, but it's on the Fat Electrician. This is from the podcast, I think, but somehow, for whatever reason, he posted on Fat Electrician channel. It's 2-year-old, that's why I think. They didn't probably create the channel for it. Yeah, Humvee, basically Hummer, right? It is the Hummer, right? Military version of it. So, I think Hummer, H1 Hummer was like sold a lot. And I'm pretty sure people drove it really fast as well. Like, I don't think that was an issue. I remember Top Gear's review of it, way old. I think season 1 of Top Gear. I'm pretty sure that was the case, right? 2002, way back then, right? And basically, obviously, even Clarkson basically said like, oh, this is, for civilian use, this is insane. And even though it was a big metal hunk, the H1 civilian, it wasn't really safe, right? If it got into crash. Because the engineering mechanics of it was like the dashboard and the engine and everything basically crushed you if there was ever an impact. So it wasn't really safe that way. Nowadays, cars are made in a way that it crumbles from the engine part. And crumbles in a way that it doesn't push into the cabin. So the people inside the cabin are safe, even though the front part is all crushed and things. There's, very complicated engineering going on there. People just assume like, oh, the more heavier the hood is, the more the space in the hood is, like big SUVs and big sedans, you're more safe. That's not how usually is the case. Hummer is a classic example of that. There is much complicated engineering goes into it. So basically, like German cars and big luxury cars, like, where people actually spend a lot of R&D, is probably going to be like good in that aspect, safety aspect. But I don't know. Humvee is like, I'm pretty sure it's an H1 Hummer, or was it like different than that in military version of it? I don't know. But I'm guessing it had the same issues. So I don't know. I think it's more like infantry vehicle type of way, right? It's not supposed to be just a car that you just drive around. It's supposed to be more infantry vehicle with mounted guns, even if need be. But it's going to be interesting. Let's do
it. We talking about Humvees. I'm mad at them. We were talking about how big of a failure Humvees are and aren't all at the same time. Veterans generally love the Humvee or they hate the Humvee.
Both.
But the caveat is everybody that hates it, if you were like, would you pay $5,000 for one? They're all like, fuck yeah, we would.
Immediately.
Everybody would.
Like, I'm trying to find
$5,000. That's nothing. Of course you'd pay for that. I would pay for that easily. Even if I'm afraid of it, I would just keep it there as a cool shit.
Nobody hates the Humvee. They just resent the fact that they were forced to use it for a bunch of shit that it was never meant to do. And nobody realizes that. Like, I grew up playing Twisted Metal. It's like, oh, Humvees are fucking dope. Do you know what a Humvee was like meant for?
No, actually.
So Humvee, everybody knows how Humvee is like spelled. It's actually just the acronym HMMWV, which is High Mobility Multi-Purpose Wheeled Vehicle.
The fuck? I thought it was just a short name for Hummer. High Mobility Multi-Purpose Wheeled Vehicle. But hold on, are you telling me that American military actually created this thing and then somehow they made it more commercial and actually sold it as a Hummer? Because this makes me think this was the original designation of it, HMMWV. Damn, that's a surprise. I didn't know that.
It's multi-purpose because in Vietnam it was supposed to replace 3 different vehicles and do all their job at the same time. So it was supposed to replace the Jeep, the Gamma Goat, which is like this weird semi-amphibious 6-wheel cargo truck, and it's like the fucking utility something. Basically where they take the commercial trucks and they spray paint them OD green.
The fucking the GMC,
yeah,
Dodge,
like
whatever,
the GMCs
greens.
and the fucking Fords where they just spray paint the
Goat.
The Gamma Goat. Yeah, it's this weird amphibious tractor looking
Sounds
fucking
Italian.
thing. It was supposed to replace all.
I think British started this with the Land Rovers, right? Willys Jeep came and made this great Jeep. Basically, everybody knows of it, right? And then becomes such a good thing in wars and things. Basically, Japan and Britain both took that. Japan is Land Cruiser, which is basically the same, and Britain is Land Rover. Now, Land Rover was such a famous thing because British are like kind of known for things like this architecture type of way. And in this way, what did the architect is like the vision of how to utilize this. They made way too many shit of like Land Rovers. Like Patterson just said, like that weird thing, that amphibious type of thing, whatever he said. Like Land Rovers were like that. Any Land Rover you want, like some kind of like train type of thing with the train tracks. some tank tracks type of way as well if you want to go through that kind of terrain. A big weird type looking Land Rovers, all the type of Land Rovers you can even think of, they made it basically with the military green color because that's the only one they had after the war. They didn't have any color left, and way too many different shit of like like fire van, which looked like a fire van, but it was kind of like Land Rover. And it sold so much that a lot of places around the planet had Land Rovers. One of the biggest reason Land Rover is like revered today as like big ass car, is because of this heritage, right? So kind of British started this shit.
3 of them.
Gotta go.
So
Gotta go.
basically, it's supposed to be a government side by side that can pull a trailer, basically, and drive through a river. That's what it's supposed to do. It's not supposed to drive down the fucking freeway, ever. Which is the biggest catfish of all time.
The amount of Humvees I drove for like 6+ hours because I was on rear deck for a while.
So not comfortable.
And that's what we were doing. We would, anytime we would have to go to New Army or go from Vermont to New York through the Adirondacks in a Humvee, bro. The amount of times we'd be going and we'd get on the radio. Well, Humvee broke down. Can't make it up this fucking hill.
Dude, they struggle at
That dude, hills. You see that fan kick on? It just starts screaming.
no AC
Sounds like a fucking herd of goats under the hood.
Screaming, dude.
at 60, 55 miles an hour.
Then you, if you can hear,
Yeah, I think, look, if anybody has ever owned a proper off-roader, they would know that if you put it in like proper low-range 4x4, or any 4x4 for that matter, you're not supposed to drive at tarmac, right? Because usually proper 4x4s don't have central differential, right? So front and back, both axles are going to receive same amount of power. Now on tarmac, that's an issue because there's a lot of grip there. And if there's like a difference of power requirement and they receive the same thing, it can damage mechanical parts of it, right? So it can break down, which I think what happened with the Humvee. Humvee is gonna be 4x4. Of course, it is a military thing. Why wouldn't it be? So they basically made it to like go through like weird, like mud and shit and all the like problem things that military would come across. And if you drive like that, they didn't probably give like disengagement of 4x4. Like it's on. Why wouldn't it be on? And on tarmac, I'm pretty sure that broke down constantly because you're not supposed to drive on tarmac. And central differential usually like things like this doesn't have, because why would you need that? That complicates things a lot. All-wheel drive usually have central differentials. Obviously, the more like very costly proper 4x4s, for whatever reason they do give central differential, which like hides behind a lot of computer shit. But usually like proper 4x4s don't have central differentials because of this reason. Like if you put in like 4x4 or 4 low or whatever, the surface is not sticky and it's like mud and whatever where wheel spin will be a thing. So you don't have to worry about power differences and damaging the mechanism. So yeah, driving that shit on like tarmac would be an issue.
hear over the sound of the engine, the only thing you hear is the sound of wind desperately trying to get past the 90-degree fucking windshield because you're driving a fucking Lego down the freeway. It's literally a brick. Just
It's like 3 bricks. It's like brick.
You go to get on the on-ramp to the freeway the first time, you have that gut-sinking realization of the gas pedal's not an accelerator. It's just a button that makes it fucking louder. You don't actually go any faster.
I don't miss that vehicle. The up armor ones are so much slower because they don't increase the power. They're just like, this struggles already no matter what.
Put the armor on it.
Yeah, 9,000 pounds.
Yeah, like 20. How much is it? 9,000?
They weigh 9,000 pounds, the up-armored ones.
God, like, let's add that and we'll be fine. And then it's like really getting
9,000 pound Humvee. That's like 4 tons or something. And top of the car as well. So the car must be like 5 to 6 tons of a car. Is that even a car anymore? Like it was never supposed to be car, but this is like close to like big ass truck territory, right? Usually like proper luxurious big ass SUVs weigh 3 tons or something. Fuck it, like 3.5 tons or something. 5-6 plus tons. And you don't even have like aerodynamics or R&D for anything that's supposed to go at high speed. But then again, how did they made the Hummer commercial version, Hummer H1, right? I'm guessing they removed a lot of things from that and made it usable enough. But even then, I remember the Top Gear review. I think they didn't do that good of a job trying to like replicate it. People just used this because they can. I'm pretty sure it had an issue as well. But then they made H2 and H3. H3 was much different, right? But I'm pretty sure General Motors did all that thing. General Motors took over that and did all that thing.
Through Iraq.
To be fair, they did upgrade the horsepower on those.
Did they?
Those are a turbo diesel. They got 190 horsepower as opposed to the original 170. They added 3,000 pounds of fucking steel, and they're like 20 more horsepower.
It's like, here's a little butt pat for you.
Horsepower's not the point. Torque is, right? If you want to worry about weight like that. Horsepower, it doesn't matter. Like you won't go that high of a speed, but would you go at like stable speed? You'd need torque. So how much torque did they rise?
They only increased it by 20.
I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me, but I'm fairly confident.
We're quoting you.
I'm more.
You're our historian now.
Fuck.
It's 100. The original's 160.
Either 160 or 170. It's the same motor. They just added turbos. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I just love that the baseline's 170 horsepower, and then that until 2000. And I mean, we're still using those in the fucking Middle East.
So I did that whole video on.
Horsepower's not the point though, man. Like I said, it's like torque is. Like I've seen off-roaders that like 100 horsepower but has like 350 Newton meters of torque or something. It can kick ass. You can basically climb with a lot of weight because torque is what you need to push it, right? Horsepower is like more complicated than that, than just basic torque figure. But torque is what you need to worry about if you're like worried about the size and things.
The gun trucks from Vietnam. It was the same thing in like 03 in Iraq with the Humvees. Like just a bunch of grunts just started welding plate armor on their Humvees because they're like, well, this is fucking bullshit.
Yeah, because they were soft. They were little
Soft
canvas.
tops,
Yeah,
yeah.
soft tops.
They
and
were canvas soft tops.
Or no, like take off the doors and just drive, and you're like, man, this is real bad at stopping bullets.
This air between us isn't real good. I don't want to use my buddy, but like my passengers now, my bullets stop.
We did Strikers, so I didn't really have to fuck around with Humvees ever.
Bro, do you remember the first time you drove a Humvee though?
Yeah.
Like I was National Guard, but it was like,
It's
we
like
need some volunteers to drive 6 Humvees to a different state and drop them off and bus back. And you're like, fuck
Hell
yeah,
yeah.
I want to drive a Humvee.
Let's
Humvees
go.
are dope. And then you're like,
it's 100 degrees outside.
why isn't anybody else volunteering? Right, but I don't know that yet. Like, all I know is Twisted Metal Humvees. They're the fucking bomb.
I've seen Commando. Let's go, dude. This sounds like fun.
You
Like,
got to supply and get the logbook and the key. You're like, why does the key for the Humvee say Master Lock on it? Then you get out of the Humvee and there are no keys for Humvees. It's just a steel cable that they wrap around the steering wheel. That's the only security. There's no locks on the doors, no key to fucking start it, nothing.
You're just like this on.
The fucking driver's seat's literally like the cushion from a piece of patio furniture on top of a piece of metal.
honestly, I've sat on comfy.
No. I have driven that really, really old village Jeep, military World War times Jeep. There was one here. Oh my, that was basically, that's how the seats were. And that is so horrendous. My spine was hurting for multiple days just because of some bumps. How do you drive that shit? How do people survive? I don't get that, man. That is insane amount of, like, again, like Jeep probably had close to no suspension, that Jeep, but I'm guessing Humvee probably the same thing.
Your patio furniture then.
The first time I drove a Humvee, we stopped at a gas station like, I don't know, what, 2 hours later, because they hold 25 gallons and they get like 7 miles per gallon.
On a good day.
So we stopped at a
Not
fucking
on the
gas station.
freeway.
Like I vividly remember it because I immediately pulled my phone out and Googled how old do you have to be immune to shaking baby syndrome. Just fucking the whole time. It was terrible.
No AC, no. Do they? They don't even have heaters, do they? I can't.
No,
remember.
they have heaters.
Fuck no.
No, they have heaters.
Bull.
I was in Vermont in the winter. Believe me, they have heaters.
Yeah, right.
I promise you they do.
Right. They got heaters like a killer whale has fucking thumbs. Real fucking helpful. Jesus Christ.
I'm telling you, man, when it's
If you-
negative
if you-
20,
if
that
you-
Humvee's home,
If you
bro.
want to be cold in the winter and hot in the summer, get a fucking Humvee. God forbid it's fucking raining because whatever half of you's touching of the fucking exit, that's going to be fucking wet.
Why are Humvees so, they just leak no matter what. It was just water pouring
You know why?
in.
Because it's a semi-amphibious fucking vehicle. That's why the body's made out of aluminum. They weren't meant for daily transportation. It was meant to be a side-by-side for the fucking army. And that's it. And we're like, yeah, fuck it. Drive it down the freeway. It's fine. When's the last time you went camping and drove your side-by-side to the campground? Fucking never. And Uncle Sam's like, I don't understand why you guys don't like it. I paid $220,000 a piece
Per
for this
unit,
pile
I
of
know.
shit.
No shit.
What? They paid 220,000. I guess armor. It's like 20,000-30,000 for that shit of a mechanical car. The armor costs that much? Because I know in America, like how much your F-150 trucks cost there. In your price in America, basically it's cheaper for you there because it's just built there, made there. Same thing with the Humvee. But why does it cost that much? That's an insane price. 220,000. It's like all military things cost more. Is that it?
Yeah, 220 grand. New. Not up armored.
What the fuck?
What? Without armor? This is bullshit at a whole other level. This is all the military contracts ripping off like taxpayer dollars. That's what. No, there is nothing in that should cost 220,000. What is this, Mercedes Maybach? What the fuck is that? G-Wagon, even all like gilled up or something?
I didn't realize they were that fucking much. Holy
They're
shit,
so
man!
much.
The government's so good at spending money.
So bad.
So good at spending.
And then and the better part is they're trying to push that they want the military to convert to all electric vehicles. Like that's the worst thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
That is the shittiest thing ever. Warfare is, and I've said this in the past, I'm going to say this again. Warfare and war is anti-civilian thing. Anti-civilization thing. All the shit that makes you live in community, in civilization, thrown out of the window as soon as war starts. Because it's all shit, right? That's not supposed to be normal. During that time, you're not supposed to think, Planet Fendry, green. You're fucking like, EMP grenade will probably kill your fucking car instantly. What you're gonna do, your batteries could die on you because of rough conditions. Batteries don't like dust and shit, mud and shit. Simple mechanical Carl Benz basically created an engine, and even to this day, combustion engine is like one of the complicated but most simplistic thing you can use. A basic mechanic can repair something and just make it go, and like that could save your life. Electric, do that shit in everyday life, sure, but in war, this is the most stupidest shit ever, right? Electrics are not reliable like that. Electrics go shit all the time. We accept it in real life because we can just repair it and it's not life and death. In war, it's life and death. What is wrong with you?
They want to go all electric?
Yeah.
Why?
There's, for the environment.
When you're in war.
Nobody's more pro electric car than me, an electrician. But that shit's fucking dumb. I don't know how much you know about power, but you need like infrastructure. When's the last time you saw power lines in a?
That's not even the point. Military can figure that out, but it's not supposed to work like that. There's way too many problems there. An environment, what? You're using grenades and guns. Your whole thing is damaging other thing. It's a war. Like I said, war is the most anti-civilization thing there is. Everything gets thrown out of the window, including global warming. That's not the time you're supposed to think all that.
Fucking Battlefield.
That too.
Ever. Like you're just adding links in the supply chain. Like instead of just putting gas or diesel, JP8, if you will, in the fucking Humvees, it's going to be a generator full of JP8 that's burning JP8, and then you charge the Humvee.
I just picture driving up, it's dead silent because it's all electric. Then you call in a fucking F-30.
I mean, yeah, sure, you can do the hybrid thing. Same thing that he said, but it's inside the car. But technically it would be more economical, but then again, anytime you include batteries with bad condition, those batteries could go off. If those batteries go off, it's like one explosion after another explosion until all the cells run out, which could last days. Battery science is not good. It's very basic. The guy who invented it, we're still at that. We haven't come across anything that's better than that. Battery cell, if they start to explode, they're going to explode for multiple days. That is not right.
We'll call them an F-38. It's an electric plane that comes in. You're like, God, we're saving the environment. Okay, drop the J-dam there. Right there. And you're like, oh yeah, they were still fucking shit up in the end.
I need body bags and a cartographer. We need to change the topographical map. That bitch is gone.
Yeah. By the way, I throw a nuke there. But at least we used like bio-friendly fuel in F-35 when it carried the nuke. This is the stupid shit. By the way, all those aircraft carriers and all those big ass fucking ships that stays on harbor and stay on for weeks on end before it can deploy it again, because apparently they can be shut down like that. There was a whole process start up. Every single day they're producing enough pollution that all the cars in that city is not producing. Just one aircraft carrying things. Military is the last thing you think about when think about, like global warming and shit. You're worrying about fuel and electric cars. Have you lost your mind? You want your soldiers to be trapped and die in a gunfight in bad condition? See, this is what I think. Russia and all these countries are not really rich, and they're kind of behind technology of America. But America will be screwed one day just because they went over their head too much. Well, Russia is still using diesel cars. These people are using electric and all that shit, and that's the shit that fails. Well, the basic caveman type technology with AK-47 is superior. That's the place we are going. Come on, that is insanity. Whenever I was driving a Humvee, there was way too many substance in this video than just Humvee, but it was fun. That's how Federation videos goes. If you like my reason, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.